You may have seen the news that there was some big secret Brexit summit this week between politicians from all parties, including Michael Gove and Gisela Stewart from the Leave campaign, where they really accepted that Brexit is doing damage to the UK and making people poorer, and the idea was to find ways to move things forward, to get a better Brexit and really get rid of all the acrimony between Leave and Remain and really come together. But it has the exact same energy as this scene from the previous episode of The Last of Us.
Oh, you were wronged, and I'm sorry. This has gone too far. It has to stop.
It has to stop now, you mean? Now that you're in the cell. But before, people dying was okay. When you were safe and protected and ratting on your neighbors to Fedra.
Now, if you think that comparing Brexit to killing people is overdramatic, please remember that every single medical body in the UK said that Brexit would severely damage the NHS, including making us more vulnerable to deadly pandemics. They said that in 2018. And then look, we had a pandemic, and it's been confirmed that Brexit has added to our staffing shortage in the NHS. And a shortage of NHS staffing capacity was our biggest weakness during COVID. Not to mention the fact that pretty much every economist was saying that Brexit would make us poorer. But most importantly, in 2018, the government's experts said that no matter what Brexit they negotiated, Brexit would make us poor. So the idea that they're now trying to figure out a way to do Brexit without making us poor is just lies. And you have to remember how they treated the people who opposed Brexit, calling us Remoaners, traitors, enemies of the people, calling us undemocratic, even though they were pushing through a version of Brexit that significant parts of the 52% did not want. And as for the effect that that kind of rhetoric from the politicians had on society, I can only speak from personal experience, because I've had drinks chucked on me, I've been poked in the face with flagpoles, I've been accosted in the street, I've had constant verbal and racial abuse online, including death threats, and I was far from alone in receiving that abuse, because yes, I got the racist stuff, but when I talked to female anti-Brexit activists about the stuff they were receiving in their DMs, Jesus Christ. And it would be wrong for me to do this video without mentioning that an anti-Brexit MP was murdered in the final week of the referendum campaign in 2016, in the climate created by the Brexiteers. All this because we tried to save the people of the UK from the poverty and suffering that Brexit has unleashed. They knew it would make us poorer. They knew it would damage the NHS, and yet they abused us for opposing it. And now that it's cost our economy £100 billion during the sharpest fall in living standards on record, and now that it's been confirmed that it damaged our NHS during a pandemic, now they want to act like they're just reasonable politicians doing their best for the country. Is it a good thing that these politicians are getting ready to admit that Brexit is bad for the UK? Sure. However, I will keep saying this until my lungs fail. If they were willing to tell lies, to push through policies that they knew would ruin the lives of millions of people, just for their own political gain, they will do it again. So if we let these politicians and journalists rehabilitate themselves, then when the next Brexit happens, we will only have ourselves to blame.